Hello and welcome in. My name is Mark, aka the Markster. This is video number 11 in the FreeCAD series. Today we're going to look at adding toolbar icon shortcuts for our macros. I'm using version number 0.19, 19.5.10. If you are using an earlier version, some of these features won't be available, so you need to update to at least some version of 0.19, I believe. First thing we often do, or I often do in these videos, is create a spreadsheet and relabel it. So we'll go to the spreadsheet workbench. We click the icon, F2, and I like to relabel mine SS. It's not that big a deal. And then go back to whatever workbench I was in. It's not a big deal, but there are a few steps there that we could create a macro to do this for us, and it would just be a matter of coming to the toolbar, click on it, and boom, you're done. So let's create a macro to do this for us. The first step for that, we go to the macros menu, click the create button, and let's call this SS. This brings up the macro editor. We can enter our macro script right here, save it, and that'll be that. And notice here in Python console, some commands have been executed to perform these commands. When I switched to the spreadsheet workbench, this command here was run. When I created spreadsheet, this command was done. So all we need to do really is copy these commands. Right click here, copy command, right click here and paste, which is not letting me do. So let me just try to copy text. Control V, there we are. I don't believe it's necessary to switch to the spreadsheet workbench at all. I do not believe this command is necessary, but we can try it and see. So let's look at this command, app.activeDocument. This acquires a reference to the active document. In this case, it's unnamed. Add object, adds a new object to the document. The type of object is a spreadsheet, ::sheet. And the name of the object is spreadsheet. So we can just edit this part, change that to SS, and that should be all we need to do to add a new spreadsheet and name it SS to our document. So let's save this macro. We can close it. Let's close this document. And now we can test the macro before we add it to the toolbar. Macros. Let's look for the SS macro. There we are. Execute. So this works fine. Now we're ready to add it to our toolbar. discard these changes. Macro, macros. Find our macro. Select it. Click the toolbar button. If you do not have a toolbar button, you need to update to a newer version. Click toolbar. A message will pop up here explaining that we're about to go through what's called a walkthrough. And there's an option to disable seeing that message again. I've disabled it by clicking, I think it's a button on there. It says do not show again or something it says. If you click that, you won't see this message again. So let's read the instructions in red. Walkthrough instructions. Fill in the missing fields, optional. Then click add, then close. So the missing fields, we could have a tool tip. Let's write something in there. Creates a new spreadsheet object named SS. We could add an accelerator key. For example, Shift plus S or Control plus S, Control Shift plus S. I'm not going to do that. Most of those shortcuts are already taken, and I don't want to conflict with anything that already exists. Pixmap is the icon. So we can select an icon, or we can just use the text. We don't have an icon. We could select one from the ones that are available. If you would rather have a picture, maybe this here, or I think there is, there's a generic Python that would work too. So we'll fill in the missing fields, then click add, then close. So we click add. Now what this does is creates what's called an action. It puts it into the available macro actions, and then we close. Now walkthrough instructions. Click new, then right arrow button, then close. So we need to click new to create a new global toolbar. We're in the global section already. The walkthrough has put us into the global section. Global meaning this toolbar will appear no matter what workbench we are in. If we only wanted it in part, we could maybe put here. Don't know exactly how well that works, haven't tried it. So I just make a global toolbar. So we click new. We can select this name or create our own name. I'm just going to accept the default. And then the red arrow button. Click new, then red arrow button. That puts the action into the custom one toolbar. Now we close. Okay, we have to switch workbenches for the new workbench to show up. This basically reinitializes the workbenches. You see it right here. So we'll go back to part, and now we've got a new toolbar right here. And if we mouse over, we get our little tooltip. SS creates a new spreadsheet named SS. So we can click that, and we have our spreadsheet. Now let's look at the easy alias macro that we often use. Now let's put it on the toolbar. But before we do that, let's go to the add-on manager and see if the developer has kindly included a toolbar icon for us. So let's go to the add-on manager, select macros, and let's go down to easy alias, and you'll see here download toolbar icon. So we can click that, and now we can right click this image, save image as, but we need to know where to put it. I've already downloaded and saved it along with some other icons, and for me it's in my documents folder and FreeCAD folder and the icons folder. So that's the hierarchy that I have on my system. Yours will be different. But that's where I put my icons. So I've saved the icon, created an icon folder and saved it into it. One that I know where it's at. I will close this. No, it's not a great icon, but I'm not a great artist. Now we'll go to our toolbar, and again the instructions. Fill in missing fields, then click add, then close. Well, one of the missing fields is a tooltip, and we'll say easy alias, give it the name, maybe some brief instructions, highlight column A cells, select spreadsheet and tree, then run to create aliases, and we choose our pixel map. Now because I already have my icon folder set up, we see the easy alias icon here, but you won't have yours set up yet. So you need to click icon folders, click the plus button, navigate to your icon folder and select that folder. I've already done it and it appears here. I could delete that by pressing the minus key. So what this does, it tells FreeCAD where to look for your additional icons. It already has a folder where it keeps all the default icons, these that are in this list, and others that are installed perhaps from some installed workbenches, like these for example are from the really terrific Lattice 2 workbench, which I have installed, which you probably do not. So you will not see these icons. So I will select the easy alias icon, then click add, then close. I don't care about these two fields or the accelerator. So add, then close. Notice new is not highlighted anymore because we've already created our global workbench, global toolbar. You could create another if you like. I have two. So I make sure I'm on the right one here in the list, which it is, and then click the right arrow button. That adds this action into the toolbar, and then close. Notice it's not up here yet. We'd have to change our workbench first and then come back. So I'm just going to select start workbench, and you can go back to part. So now we have handy toolbar icons that we can use for both of our macros that we've been using here in our videos very commonly. There's another macro while we're on this subject that you might find of use, and that's the Snip macro. Snip FC macro. Let's go to the add-ons manager macro section. This macro, which I've already got installed, but it's called Snip. Here again, a toolbar icon available, which I've already downloaded and saved, but you can download it if you decide to install this macro. And what it does is it enables you to take screenshots that you can then post very easily to the help forum to get help. So I'm going to select, once you have it installed, it'll be here in the menu. I'll select it. I'll select toolbar, and I will select my Snip macro icon. Tooltip will be Snip. Take a screenshot for easy drag and drop to the forum. And now we'll click Add, follow the instructions, fill in missing fields, then click Add, then Close. Add, then Close. And now follow the instructions, click the right arrow button, then Close. Right arrow button, then Close. And again, just switch to any workbench and back. So now we have our Snip macro. So what the Snip macro does is it's going to bring up this resizable, I've got a size to make full screen screenshots for YouTube right now. So it's a resizable window. It's partially transparent, and you can just put it over whatever part of the screen you would like to capture and click OK. That takes the screenshot below the file, below the window, saves it to a temporary folder, and opens the Open File dialog. Look at the instructions here. Drag the image to the forum, then cancel will delete the temporary file. So we could drag this and drop it on the forum that you would have open in your browser. Where you type your question in, you just drop it onto there, and it uploads your screenshot very quickly and easily. Or you could open the file in your default image editor, which for me is Microsoft Paint. And then you can save it to a more permanent location if you want to keep a copy. Or you could have just dragged and dropped the other file to another folder to save it. So that's a handy, useful macro. It remembers the last location and size of the window. So let me set it back up for full screen. And cancel. Well, that's going to be it for today. We learned a little bit about coding macros. I'm sure there are plenty of videos on YouTube if you want to learn Python. It's not a difficult programming language to learn. As far as programming languages go, it's actually more user-friendly than most. And I'm sure there are a lot of videos on programming in Python. I doubt if there are any specifically the FreeCAD, but there might be, I don't know. But just about all the generic FreeCAD code will work. I mean, if it's for the version 3 point something, that code should be compatible. FreeCAD comes with its own bundled Python system. It's in that zip file, so it does not depend upon you to have Python installed on your system. Even if you do, it's using its own compiler. I mean, its own compiled version of Python. But it has a lot of packages that are already included that you can import. So most of the examples you find online will also work with FreeCAD. There might occasionally be a package someone is using that is not included. So in that case, try to find another way. I don't know how to install packages into the FreeCAD version where it's stored. It can probably be done. I just don't know how to do it. So anyway, we learned a little bit about Python coding. Not much. We just copied and pasted from the Python console into a new macro. It's a simple one-liner. And we learned how to create a toolbar, a global custom toolbar for our macros. And we learned how to add our macros to that toolbar, how to get icons. And of course you can, most of the macros probably have included toolbar icons, but you can make your own if you want, or just use one of the pre-selected, or even just use the text. Had I not selected this icon here, it would just show SS there, and that would be fine for me. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you for watching. If you know of any friends or colleagues who might be interested in this series, pass it on to them. Subscribe if you like. I'm not going to beg for subscribers, but I don't think I have any yet at this time. Of course, I haven't really been marketing this channel yet. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you and have a great day.